Hello, this is Amy from Amy's Property Playbook. I am so glad to see you today, and I want to talk about a very serious issue, and it's called fraud and your comfort level. You know, when I first started back in real estate, um, I signed up for a service through one of the largest websites and companies in the country that supplies real estate agents with leads. You go to the buyer or the seller go to that company's website. They find a property or decide, hey, I want to sell, and then they say, okay, yes, reach out to me, and the agent can reach back out. I signed up for that service. Good company, good reputation, no reason to suspect anything suspicious. I'm the one that initiated the contact, so it wasn't like they reached out to me and then I followed a bad lead. So I signed up for this service, cost me a lot of money, a couple of $1,000s. It was very expensive. And so as I moved forward with this, what they would do is they would send me leads. Somebody would get online, sign up for the service, and then they would reach out to that company, and that company would reach out to me and I would call them. So I would take those leads, and because of my background in another industry, fraud was something that I was familiar with, that I had worked with before, and I knew how to verify these leads. While this company that I was signed up for, spending thousands of dollars with, had said, we're going to send you pre-qualified leads. We're going to make sure that they are legitimate and that they're not fraudulent. I still felt like I owed it to myself, to my future buyers, and even to my sellers to verify on my own that these leads were real. Because I want to tell you, when I worked in fraud, huge companies get caught up in fraud, and they have the dollars to prevent it. So if these big companies can get caught up in fraud, I mean, seriously, y'all, if a hospital, one of the larger hospitals in our community, can get hacked when you know that they have the highest and best systems available to them, me, just an individual, is more vulnerable than they are. So it only serves me and my customers for me to investigate the fraud a little bit further. So one of the things, and this is something you might could use for yourself, but one of the things that I learned when I worked for this very big tech industry, and I did work with the fraud department, is that when we are verifying information and we are making contact with our customers, and we suspect there may be an issue or just feel like we need to randomly verify that this customer is real, you reach out to that customer from an independently verified source, and they are out there. And when you find that phone number from an independent source, not from the email or the initial information provided by who we think the real customer is, when you go outside of that and you independently verify that that person is real, that source is real, and you reach out to those avenues outside of what you've been provided, and you ask them, do you really want to sell your property? Did you reach out to this company to sell your property? And then you move forward with the work that you're doing. Some of the leads I received were great. A lot of them were fraudulent. And when I would find that out, then I would make sure that the customer knew that their property was at risk, and I would give them advice on what they could do to protect themselves. So what I'm going in this direction to tell you is that I think the pendulum is swinging back. I think that things like wet signatures being required, being there in person, writing contracts on documents instead of doing it all digitally, because we've learned that can be hacked. Protected documents can be hacked. So if you're looking for a real estate agent that's going to be looking out for your best interests, and you don't necessarily trust the digital source, call me. I'm there. I'm happy using digital sources, but I feel like there is a pull back. There is a need to go back to wet signatures, showing up in person, having IDs. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to try to talk to the lady that this happened to because she wanted me to pursue it further. So I'm hoping that she's going to be happy about meeting with me and doing something online. She had some property in the upstate region here. and I was reached out to by a source provided to me from this big real estate online company. So when I got it, I researched the property. It was a great piece of property, a really great piece of property. And when I called the number provided to me, the person was like, yeah, that price sounds good. Write up the paperwork and send it to me. So I thought, let's just verify that, because the last thing I want to do is get involved in something like a fraudulent transaction. So I went to our courthouse records. I researched the property. I identified the owner, which matched the name that I was given. And then from there, I went through an alternate source. I found some contact information. I called this lady, the owner of this property, and I asked her if she wanted to sell this property. She said, absolutely not. I have no interest in selling that property. I do have some property that I'm selling, but I'm working with the real estate agent and we have it under contract. And I said, well, I just want to let you know that not only did this company give me this lead, I reached out to this lead. They impersonated you and they sent me your driver's license, to verify that it was them. So I sent the driver's license to her and she said, this is not me. And she sent me her driver's license. And while they had the same information on the driver's license, the picture was different. So I talked to her further and she wanted to make sure that the company that sent me the information knew that this was fraudulent, that she is not selling that particular piece of property, and that it's not going on the market anytime in the near future. So we were able to save her from losing her property, or at least having to fight to hold on to her property, or maybe even looking it up to find out that it was already sold and she didn't even know it. So I'm telling you this story because when you're ready to put your property on the market, sometimes having a real person to reach out to is going to save you a lot of headaches. Having an actual document that's on paper, that's signed, is going to save you a lot of headaches. Having an attorney that is going to want you to come in so that he can see you. You can provide him with your real ID driver's license so that he can verify that this person is you that is signing these documents to sell your property. That's going to protect you. It's going to save you thousands of dollars. It's going to save you losing property. So anyways, this is my number. Call me if you want to have some help selling real estate, a property that you want, and if you feel like you want a real person and not have to go through a digital source. I'm here. I'm ready. I want to help you sell your property, but protect yourself in the meantime.